Was this a scam or something more sinister? This happened to me recently in my home city. I was walking alone down the street in the city last Friday. This man approached me while his friend sort of stood off to the side and watched from afar. He asked me if I knew where any good gay bars were in town. I said, yeah, I know where, and told him the street and directions on how to get there. He started begging me to walk him there, pointing down this alleyway. I kept saying no, that I was going to meet my friend and didn't have time. I was a bit spooked, but I seen there were people around I could yell to for help if things escalated. It took me walking away and ignoring him for him to back off and leave me alone. Were they trying to mug me, or was this just some sort of scam? I'm a young woman in my early 30s. I'm not stupid enough to go off with strangers down dark alleyways. Just adding to what others have said, it also seems the whole know any good gay bars sounds like a way to make them seem harmless. After all, what would gay guys want with a girl? The pushing to go down a dark alley would certainly concern me too. The biggest red flag here is why do they need to ask a complete stranger about any establishment they want to go to? A quick Google search on their phone will show them these places with complete directions on how to get there. Sometimes you just have to be rude and tell someone to f*** off. Please, don't be too nice and get yourself hurt. Know that boundary. Is there anything I can do now? $20,000 down the drain? My fiance gave a scammer our life savings last year, a little over $20K. She came home from work early saying the FBI had contacted her and told her someone in Arizona had stolen her identity and had access to all of her bank information. They convinced her to leave work and pull all the money out by buying gift cards at Target and transferring all the money to them. How does that make any sense in your mind? They told her not to tell anyone or else she could... Oh, God. Of course, the millisecond she told me this, she came home, or when she came home, excuse me, I immediately called the police, but unfortunately it was too late and all the money was gone for good. The police came and took all of the receipts and all the cards and got all the information about the caller that we could get, but said it was very unlikely anything would happen. So basically my question is there anything I can do now? Can I call and ask for an update on the report we made? I unfortunately don't think that there is anything that can be done at this point in time, but let's see what Reddit has to say. The FBI has a website to report these incidents to ic3.gov. Not much else you can do, and not much will likely happen. If Target was nice, they'd be able to track the gift cards and return the money. No such luck for most victims of these scams, though. Often these guys redeem them very quickly to store accounts and start spending it quickly. They have people on the ground picking up expensive items that they resell. The accounts they use are burners, and the money is converted into untrackable status fairly quickly. After selling, it's all cash to them. Spam caller reads my home address and demands he be allowed to see my house. Weird. I've received several calls from someone named James. When I answer, he asks to speak to me by name. Then he proceeds to read me my home address and tells me he's been watching my house. He then says he wants to buy my house and asks if he can come by and look at it. I've told him to stop calling and blocked his number, but he calls from a different one every time. I'm pretty sure it's the same person. The name is always James, and it sounds like the same guy. I've reported the number to, well, the authorities at least 2 times to the Do Not Call registry and have not heard back from them. Can I call the police about this and press charges? This is beyond just a spam call. The fact that he reads my home address and aggressively tells me he wants to come see my house is very creepy. The last time he called, I told him I was going to call the police if he called again, and he aggressively told me that he had a right to see my house. He just called again today, and I hung up on him. Seems like he's not going to stop. Update. I called the police and gave them the number. They're going to look into it and said someone would be in touch in a few days. Is that it? I need to hear how does this end? Oh, dude. Car jumpstart scam? Oh, come on. Long-time lurker on this sub, and I haven't seen this one before. My friend and I went out to breakfast in Burlington, Vermont, I assume, and when we got back to her car, her headlights were on, and there were a bunch of guys standing near the car. We know for a fact she didn't leave her headlights on, but she did leave the car unlocked. She tried to start it, and the battery was dead, obviously, so the guy standing near offered to give us a jump. Their buddy came over with jumper cables, jumped the battery, and said, "That'll be $85. We were going to give the guy $20 for helping us, but obviously realized this was a scam and refused to pay him. Luckily, the guy finally chilled out and we left. But as 2 young girls surrounded by a bunch of large men demanding money, we were definitely panicking on the inside. That is some psycho shit. I'm glad you didn't get hurt or robbed. Always lock your car. I don't care where you're parked. Keep a battery pack jump starter in the trunk. Charge it at home so you can use it once every 3 months. You just have it ready. If the situation feels sketchy, walk around and return with an escort, or when it feels safer. Cars and belongings can be replaced, but you cannot. 95% of this was a scam at a gas station interaction today. Oh, God. So I pulled up to Love's gas station along the freeway. A man comes up to my dad and says his card was charged for his gas and our gas since we pulled up at the pump after him, supposedly. He shows me a bank account charge for the exact change of how much I pulled from the pump. However, I remember putting in my card and the machine, and it was not in the middle of a transaction when I arrived. The hose was in its holster and the machine approved my card. The guy wanted us to go into the gas station and reverse it. I understand it doesn't work like that, and I say no. I'm guessing he'll ask for the money in cash or something. I refuse and tell him I don't know him, and I put in my card. Why is this one hard for me to read? I think I'm dumb. And I put in my card, and I'm confident that it charged. Here's the kicker. I was not charged by the gas station right away. I almost thought he was telling me the truth until I realized some transactions of mine charge me at a later point. For example, sometimes I see I get charged hours or even a day later. He threatened to call the police and took photos of my car to intimidate me. This was all for $16 I put into my car. I refused and said, please call them, and then I left. He walked away pretty quick before that. I still haven't been charged on my card, but it's only been an hour. Is this a common scam? A basic rule would be that at any time someone walks up to you and tells you that you owe them money, it is a scam. And at a gas station, that's the scam capital. Never trust anything said to you at a gas station or grocery store parking lot. Yeah, just don't. I lost my ID and need yours to check in? I've been mulling over an interaction and can't decide what the scam is. During a hotel stay, a man walked by the lobby and complimented my clothes. I wasn't dressed particularly well, but thought he was just being friendly. Didn't think much of it. A few moments later, he reproached and started his story about how he didn't need money, but his wife lost her ID and they already checked out, so they need an ID to check back in. I was immediately suspicious. I asked him where his ID was, and he said he was from Africa and didn't have an ID. There was also another guy in his group that claimed to be his uncle who also didn't have one. I pressed the guy about how he checked in, why their plans changed since they already checked out, how they planned on traveling without IDs, and he eventually backed off. All this happened in the hotel lobby within earshot of the attendant at the front desk, which made me worry that the staff was in on the scheme. They scanned my ID when I checked in though, so I don't think, or at least hope, they're helping him. I still don't understand what this guy's motive was though. You can do a lot with someone's ID, but you'd probably have more luck as a pickpocket. Maybe he wanted me to be liable for whatever they planned on doing to the room, but then I'd have to give my credit card, which I doubt even the most gullible person would do. Later that day, I did see the same guy with another person that wasn't in the original scam group. They seemed to be exchanging information on their phone, so maybe this was an in-person pig butchering scam. If someone's nice enough to offer their ID, they might fall for whatever the next phase of it was. A what scam? Nobody says they are from Africa, first of all. That's like saying I'm from North America. This right here, everyone I know from an African country says the country they're from. They don't say the continent as a whole. Beyonce almost fell for an advanced fee scam, and thank God this subreddit exists. My fiance got a random message from a guy claiming he won $1,500 and that he needed to pay a winning fee of $50 over Cash App and send confirmation of payment over to them. My fiance made the mistake of telling the guy how much he had in his bank account and told the guy that he would have to have me download Cash App to send the money. I told the man that for the love of God, if you love your bank account and your disability payments, do not send anything to anyone over Cash App or even download it. I ended up showing my fiance a few posts from this subreddit of advance fee scams, and he said that he's glad he has me around to tell him of these things, and from now on he'll ignore anything that's sus. Good. Might want to make sure he never uses Zelle or Venmo either, and knows to never buy gift cards at someone else's request. I don't know what to do now. Back from summer break, I'm living with my family. I've been looking for jobs to pass my time and make some money on the side. I came across this listing on Facebook for a position for a virtual personal assistant. I liked the hourly rates and the other perks, so I applied for it. The person talked to me for a few hours and then told me to go to Telegram for my interview. I gave an entire interview for an hour through text. Yep, there it is. I saw the company name, which was Raymond's & Sons or Ramon's & Sons, that I researched and it looked legit. I got hired after that. The guy gave me so much work to do, which actually made me believe that it was legit, but he told me now he will give me a check which I have to deposit into my account, which I stupidly did. He wants me to buy there's the gift card thing, woo! And made me suspicious and I refused to do that. Now he's mad and won't take the money back and only wants me to buy the gift cards. Can I get any advice on what to do now? I feel so stupid. Reach out to Redacted on Instagram. He can help you out. This was a now banned recovery scammer that posted in a comment. More will send you messages. Ignore them all or you will get scammed. Pretty sure my boss got scammed out of $80,000. He's the owner of the company I work for and is a 78-year-old man. He has a thing for Asian women and has been scammed $150,000, rather to the tune of, about 6 years ago to a fake Asian lady. He received a WhatsApp message from a young Asian woman. They talked for about 2 months before he started trading with her. She talked a lot about her luxury vehicles, homes, and vacations, and claims to earn millions from trading. I told him that it's a scam and to block the number, but he didn't listen. Soon, she told him that she wanted to help him make money as well, and he downloaded whatever app she told him to download and trades based off of what her insider investor father tells her to. He put $80,000 into this account, but he believes he's now up $50K because the investments he's made brought him more money. My coworker and I keep telling him it's a scam and to stop putting money into it, but he doesn't think it is because he keeps making profits. How can I get him to stop? Update. He contacted the person and asked to withdraw his fund, but the person is saying that it will take a month to withdraw. He really thinks he's going to get his money back, and my coworkers and I showed him articles of pig butchering. What is pig butchering? I've seen that twice now. Pig butchering. That seems very, almost like whaling, you know? Going after the big clients. Did I dodge a scam? Probably. I was at Target for some quick shopping, used the self-checkout machines to pay, and the person next to me told me someone wasn't done using the machine. Looked at the machine, and it seems that someone had scanned a couple of $50 gift cards but hadn't paid for it yet. My hypothesis. Whoever this is scanned the gift cards and have likely long left the premises, and whoever uses the machine next either notices them and asks the employee to void them, or doesn't pay attention and pays so quickly that they end up activating the card for the person who's long gone and ends up footing the bill. I would have been 2 had the other shopper not warned me. Is this new scam a thing? Yes, it's a known scam and works as you describe. The hope is that someone will be inattentive or in a hurry and won't notice. As scams go, it's not very sophisticated, but they only have to get lucky once. Crypto love scam! I live in Korea and am registered on several dating platforms. Now, it is relatively normal in Korea that before you meet for a date, you write weeks together. You write weeks together? Now a lady started telling me about cryptos and how much profit you can make with them. She also sent a link, which I of course did not click on, where you can track a coin. According to her, she is invested with $20,000. I cannot find anything about the coin and about the platform blah blah blah. Does she want to scam me? She's really creepy, by the way, and I already uploaded her photos in Google and can't find anything through that. What should I do? What if I'm wrong and she's not a scammer? No, she is. This is all you need to know to comprehend what her intentions are. We write since a few days before it started, so in your opinion, it is a crypto scammer? That's what they do. Build a relationship so you trust them, then pull the scam off. You will be investing into a fraud site that will just steal your money, and you'll never meet her because she's not a real person. She'll always come up with the excuses. Also, I know this is a weird nitpick for this. It does not matter at all. But what's the point of downvoting the guy into oblivion who's just trying to make sure he's got the answer straight and knows what you're talking about? Clearly, it seems like they're not a native English speaker. So what's the point of just downvoting the shit out of the guy going, okay, here's some more context. So this is a scammer, right? Is what you're saying. Yeah. I don't get why there's upvotes and downvotes on something like r/scams. The FBI will not help. I'm a financial advisor, and my client was constantly withdrawing large amounts of money from her retirement account. I visited her in person and got her to confess that she had a boyfriend, whom she never met in person, who ran an oil rig in the North Sea and was having trouble making payroll, and his life was in danger. She transferred him a total of $350,000 over a 4-month period. Since these were bank-to-bank transfers, I was able to double-talk the teller at the bank in England and actually got the account numbers. The man's name, he was a Nigerian national living in London, and his address. We both went to the FBI and presented all the information to them, expecting to catch this guy and get at least some sort of her money back. After reviewing everything, the FBI told us in person, yes, there's enough here to get him, but the case is too small. We'll only go after someone who scammed $1 million or more. Can you imagine our frustration? The agents we were working with agreed that the system was unfair. I really feel bad for you because the thieves out there are experts at stealing your money, and the consequences are very much in their favor. Hopefully, you'll be able to continue and make that $20K back. I wish you good luck. $350,000. And the FBI goes, oh yeah, this is awesome. We'll get this motherfucker. But unfortunately, you didn't get scammed enough, so, like, I'm gonna go drink some coffee. Why not contact the police in England? Surely it couldn't hurt. Contact the Action Fraud Team in England that deals with cybercrime. As the alleged crime is possibly based in England, I'd say they would be better at it than the FBI. Yeah, England doesn't mess around with fraud. They're super strict about everything from gambling to money laundering. Worth a try. My husband received this email to both of his email addresses. Could this be a scam? I'm sorry to inform you of the passing of your mother on March 10th of this year. I'm a private investigator hired to locate and contact you. You're a beneficiary of your mother's estate. Did his mother actually pass away on March 10th? My husband hasn't been in contact with his mom for about 5 years. They had always had a strained relationship. He received this email to both of his addresses, and we can't figure out if it could be a scam. Oh, it is! The subject title is his mom's name and the area where this potential PI is located, and it's the same area in which his mom's sister lives. He wants to contact this person back, but before he does, he wanted some opinions on if it could be a scam or not. While the claim that she passed is worth investigating, I would not use this person as a vehicle for information. I reckon it's just a tweaked Nigerian prince advanced fee scam. OPS to pay some fees to release a non-existent inheritance. Agreed. I would try maybe searching for an obituary or maybe a notice on nearby funeral home websites. Communicating with the PI sounds kinda shady. My scam senses were tingling, but what actually was the scam? Basically, a stranger approached me on the street giving me an anxious sob story about... I don't know entirely, he was pretty incoherent. Something about living nearby, it was his 40th birthday, him and his mom have been having wine, his car was nearby, they didn't have any cards, there's an 18-pound fee to pay, and they wanted to give me a phone as collateral. So many unnecessary details that all my scam alarm bells went off. I genuinely had to ask about 6 times what he wanted me to do. He was being so incoherent, which does activate the small part of my brain that thinks he was genuine. If he was scamming, he'd want to be clear, right? In the end, I was getting more flight or fight mode and just blurted out, "Sorry, I can't help," and walked off. I know it was the right thing to do. Genuinely, had no wallet, I was only out for the gym. But at the time, the lack of 100% certainty, it really rattled me. Anyway, I'm curious what the probable scam was here. I know a bullshitter when I see one, but I have no idea how it works. Cash for something worthless like a broken or stolen phone. Usually the game is to give you worthless jewelry that they claim is worth hundreds, but a broken mobile phone feels like it's worth more even if it isn't. Scammer called grandma as granddaughter for $14K. Girlfriend's grandmother today knew her granddaughter's name and maybe voice, maybe from social media. I don't know what platform she's on, if any. Called the grandma pretending to be a granddaughter, or the granddaughter, and said she was in trouble and needed money. Said $14K would save her life? Couldn't tell her why and begged her not to mention to the parents. Her sweet grandma actually went to the bank and asked to withdraw that amount, and the bank teller saved her, advised her against it. After she divulged the circumstances, thank goodness, the grandma told the mom and called the granddaughter. Crisis averted. And now, they have a family code word. I imagine bank tellers are trained for these things, or at least to mention them. Many questions. Why, how, and what if? Thanks, bank teller. Damn, close one. Good thing she doesn't use Zelle or Venmo. Knew her granddaughter's name and maybe voice. Not necessarily. As for the name, these types of scammers are very good at getting the victim to provide information that, due to panic, they don't later remember they gave. It can go like this. Caller, sounding panicked and upset. Grandma? Grandmother, instantly panicked too. Name? Caller, yes, it's me. As for the voice, a slightly distorted phone connection and sounding breathless from panic or pain can take care of that. Once the person thinks it's the grandchild, their brain makes it sound correct. Good that she told the bank teller. Often these scammers make the victim lie to the bank because they know that they're trained on this. What was the scam? So I, 34, was outside a coffee shop in London, drinking my coffee, smoking a cigarette, and checking my phone. A guy came and sat at my table and said he would give me £1 to use my phone. He said he wouldn't touch it, I could dial the number and put it on speakerphone for him. I told him no, and he kept on and on. He wrote the number down, which I think was a mobile number. I said no again and pointed to a public phone box he could use. And at this point, he started getting frustrated and a bit animated. I felt pretty uncomfortable, so I went inside to be around other people. He followed me in, asked the barista for a cup of water, and hung around. He then noticed I was sitting with my family and walked out. What was he trying to do? Note, a few people saying he genuinely may have needed help or could have been homeless. This was a man who was well presented, wore expensive clothes, and he didn't mention being down on his luck. He gave no reason as to why he needed to use my phone, and the whole speech he gave seemed so rehearsed, hence my hesitance to hand it over. If he needed help, he could have used the phone in the shop, or the payphone I pointed out to him. I absolutely would have helped him if it didn't seem so dodgy. Gut instincts told me no. Sorry if I was unclear. You unlock the phone and call the number. He grabs the phone and runs off. He now has an unlocked phone in his hand with all your other apps available to him. A way to bypass this on iPhone is to ask Siri to call the number while the phone is still locked. The call will go through, and OP or anyone who lets someone make a call will still have their phone locked if that were the case. Oh, interesting.